Hi guys, and welcome to the fifth edition of Mancala Monday. And as always, every edition we have a new guest. Today we have Kyla, who will learn how to play Mancala, so explore and also get to learn about the variants and different details she needs to know about Mancala. And as always, we have our co-host here, Okai, who would teach Kyla how to play Mancala and also do a live session, coding session on the upcoming championship feature that will be available on Mancala. But aside that, let me allow Kyla to introduce herself since she's a first timer in our space.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Kai. Super happy to be here. I'm Carla Mugica on Twitter. I'm just a happy Starkian, happy wolf. I'm the founder of Coffee Blogs, which is a Starnet project. I'm also a member of the Wolfpack League, and I'm hosting the Lazarus Pit, which is a space we had Okai with us recently. And I'm super happy to be here today to play. Woo!
Well,
Awesome.
thank you
Awesome.
for. Okay, Paul, you want to say something?
I mean, you can go ahead.
Okay, no, I just wanted to thank her for the opportunity to play with her and also kind of share Mancala with her and kind of like get her feedback as we play.
Bringing Mancala to Latin America.
Hey, let's do it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we can get started. Kala, I left the link to Mancala Monday on the chat.
Yes,
And I
I'm
sent it to
ready.
you earlier. I'm going to share my screen so that people can see it. Give me 1 second. Okay, I just shared my screen. Paul, if you can make that, live.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
pretty much.
Okay, I just walked my Carla through the onboarding process, and this is the lobby. Don't know, Carla, if you want to share feedback on like the onboarding, I would appreciate it.
Sure. It wasn't as painful as we thought, and it was easy. I mean, I'm going to be playing on a PC computer. I have a Windows, and I'm using also Brave browser. So it was a little. I mean, I had a couple of steps prior to getting into Mancala. I had to install a extension called LastPass, and then and then LastPass helped me to log in via my phone. I just had to, I don't know, scan a QR code, and I was ready to go.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, we hope to improve the experience, make it more seamless. But yeah, thank you. And I know you
I mean,
said,
as we were saying, for us Web3 geeks, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a lot of steps, but probably for someone that is new or someone that is not familiar with this, it is. Yeah, it is.
it's one up. And
Yeah.
we're trying to kind of like, make sure that it's more compatible with PC.
Mm.
For me, it was kind of easy. And, I love kind of like getting feedback from other users and seeing how it goes. Kala, if you don't mind, if you want to create a new game, I know we started one like last, but if you want to create a new game,
Yes. Let
that's
me just
right.
create one. Public, right?
Yes, you can do public.
Okay, creating.
Yeah. So why
Ready.
you create that? I'm curious. Have you heard of Mancala before now, or this is like your first time? Have you heard about it like from your region or
No, completely new to me. I met Okai in Denver during the Starnet Hacker House, and
also?
he was presenting this. So that was the first time, and I loved it. I love the idea of bringing something from a real board game to Web3. And I love board games. But this is pretty interesting. I haven't played anything similar to it.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is her first day playing, although so we'll see, how she does. Kala, I said, Kala, it's your first move. So the board is saying, waiting for Kala to make a move.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm not in the right one.
Oh no, you're right. Okay.
Let me just go to the game.
So okay, I have my bets on Kala to win you. Eh,
You know
you
what? I lost the last time, so let's hope that Kala beats me this time too. So
So I need
Kala,
to start.
Yeah, you just need to click any. So for you to make your first move, you just need to click any, pit, and you've made your move. So you got an extra turn. I see
I
that.
learned that during the onboarding. That's the only cool move I know.
So we'll see. Maybe that helps you win. You never know.
You never know. You never know with Latin Americans.
You see, yeah, that is true. Okay, so you made two moves. So it's my turn. I'm going to also try again an extra turn. So me clicking on this kind of, puts it at my Mancala. So I'll do that. So because my last seed ended, my Mancala, I get an extra turn. If it was, Kala's Mancala, I would have skipped that and go, yeah. But yeah, okay. So for my extra turn, I'm going to open up this.
Mm.
And let's see what Kala does. And I'll just give you a hint for this first one, Kala. I have 5 here, right? It's you can definitely upset it, but if you don't make a move that adds to my pit here, I can definitely capture your seed because if I move this 5, it's 1, 2,
Oh,
4, 5. It becomes a capturing stone, and it captures this and that to my Mancala. So you definitely want to make sure either you take this away from danger or you add 1 to this. Anything you play, just make sure that 1 is added to this so that I don't capture.
okay. Can I trust you? I don't know if you're playing with
Oh,
me.
you can trust me because
I know, I know. I'm learning. I'm learning. Okay, so just to see if I understood correctly. So
Mhm.
of course, if you have five in this, one, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. You will capture the first one from
Yes,
my side, yeah, because it has a empty space in the. Okay. So
exactly.
I need to make sure to put something on there, or put something in your first one.
Exactly.
That's
Make sure
those are my two moves to be saved.
your two moves. Maybe if you care about protecting it, right? You either take this away from here. So one,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4, 5, or you can move this one because now this is 6. So in my head, I plan to capture you, but I'm looking at this. Maybe you have another good move.
Mhm.
That make sure that I don't.
So during the game, I must try as you did here. You just blocked my two empty spaces with the previous move. So it's like at the same time trying to block the empty spaces so you cannot capture mine, and then I'll also block you from um
Exactly.
too many things to think about.
I know. Yeah, you got to watch my movement because you might make a plan and I can upset it. So you want to make sure that
Your master
well,
big evil
exactly.
plan. Uh-huh.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, you just want to make sure you also have the most seed at the end of the game.
Sure, sure, sure. So I should just, if I choose this one, six, one, two, three, four. So this one, let's say.
Okay, that's a good one.
Okay. And I said I did something that I read before. I read about it before that even if we are here talking, sharing in English, but I was counting in my head in Spanish. One, two, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco.
That is
Fun. Your brain just reverts to your natural language too.
no, I actually was hearing one too. I know you said undo, but I know that, so my brain just kind of like reverted it. And you could have also made another move because you said you wanted extra turn. You had 5 here, right? So if you taking this 5, it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth one would have been in your Mancala, right? So you get an extra turn, and then you could have moved that. So that's if you wanted an extra turn, but it doesn't.
Yeah, true. True, true,
Um,
true.
so what I will
But
do,
I'm winning. I have three now.
yeah, you're winning, but we're gonna tie up right now, and I
But
get an.
you have a big evil plan, and I'm going to be trying next. I
So
know.
yes, get I'm getting an extra turn again, and and it's always not about the extra turn, right? So you actually have in the upper hand right now with all the things I did. Although it looks like I'm winning because you can capture this too, right? Because
Now you're playing all by yourself. Thank you. I'm just here talking, just enjoying the ride. Okay, let me see. So now I can capture these two from you. That makes sense. One,
yeah,
two,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
Definitely Kana is going to win this game.
I I actually like the way she's trying to understand the game, not just playing it, which is very nice.
And today I'm just playing. So I guess, been losing two streaks. Definitely Kala is winning this game.
I don't understand why, but I'm winning. Yay!
You are winning, yeah.
Okay, okay. Let me think because you're just confusing me. I need to think. Dos, cuatro, seis, siete. Ay, no. Whichever, right?
Mhm.
Let me see. The other thing that we were saying is that I like that it has some sounds,
Mhm.
like you know that something is happening, but I cannot see that you're making a move. It would be fun to see something from. I mean, I'm just waiting to see if the seats move.
Mhm.
Because
Oh, excuse me. I'm going to make a
the
pause.
train.
I stay by a train station, so it's noisy.
So I mean, I was just saying that could be fun to have something. I don't know, like a little avatar, maybe just thinking or something something to watch that I know that you're thinking and making your move.
So you're saying like this board,
Uh huh.
if there's like a player avatar, so
Hmm.
that when I'm thinking, you know that I'm thinking.
Something like that because I mean I'm here in the video with you, but if I'm only watching at the screen,
Hmm.
I'm seeing the board, and I only see something moving when you make your move, of course.
Hmm.
Afterwards, so maybe having some. I mean, I love the fact that you have the background, the little ladies just chilling in the river. I love those. I
Hmm.
love the video. That's fantastic. But maybe I'm a little bit um,
Oh no, that's
overstimulated, so I need more stimulation.
no, that's good feedback. I can definitely take that into account. I've seen a couple of games on Starknet that have um, avatars to show that the
Okay,
users.
another question. Yeah, something like that. Something that is happening. Right?
Hmm.
You're just another question. What happens if you don't have any seats on your side? Is that
The
okay?
game is over.
The game is over.
I lose the game. You
Okay.
all the seats on your side get captured to your Mancala, and you win.
Hmm.
So the interesting thing is that there's so many different variants of Mancala. This is just one that does that. The one I played growing up, IO, you still have to move. I think it's after like two moves that the game is actually over. I can't remember the rules for that. But in this variant, yes, if I don't have anything or you don't have anything on your pit, the game ends. That was a good move.
Ah.
That you elongated the game. You could have won actually.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, you
With which one? What was my winning move? Don't tell me.
your winning move was if you try to delay because I only had like three left, right? So if
Uh-huh.
you had moved this or something, I'll be forced to keep distributing and I will run out of seeds and you'd have won.
Okay. So
But
maybe I could have chosen the second one just to have like keep repeating the game, playing myself. I mean, just
yeah,
getting another extra turn, extra turn, extra turn, something like that.
you could no, you I could have explained it, but I was about to lose, so I just kept quiet.
See how you are. I cannot trust you.
I was about to lose. I was like, you know what? If I made the wrong move there, I would have lost the game. So I was like, I hope
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't.
it makes that was I was my brain was lower than I, but yes, I mean you had almost all empty play
Yeah.
holes, so
So
I went.
you could have played anything to make
Uh-huh.
sure that I move everything, and you had a lot of options there. Could have just
Okay.
wasted my time or just
See,
delayed.
I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I cannot think that way.
Yeah. And if I had thought, you would have won. So I was like, hmm.
Ah, ha, ha. No, but it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Okay. Let me see. Now is my turn or your
Yeah,
turn?
it's
Is it
your turn.
my turn? Yes. Make your move. Okay. So if I chose, for example, the one that is only two,
Hmm. You
I
get an
have
extra
an extra turn, right?
card. Hmm.
Okay. And now, if I do this, the seeds stay on my side, something like that. So now you need to move, but
Yeah.
I'm not giving you any seeds.
Yeah, well, technically you're not, but I will still be able to capture something from you. I'll be able to capture your three.
Ah,
You see your three
true,
here,
true,
so
true, true, true,
I will
true.
just capture it. I was trying to be nice, but I'm not going to be
No, no,
nice.
no, don't be nice. Don't be nice. I need to learn. And you
Yeah.
learn by knowledge on your or you learn by suffering, as my
Mhm.
husband says. Losing is a good way to learn. Okay. Let me see.
But have you played any similar game to Mancala before? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Anything similar? Mm, no, with a board like this. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Maybe um, what people call Chinese checkers. They, but it's very, very different. Not very different. I mean, I love this kind of game that you need to be like making. I mean, counting on your head, like
Mhm.
when we play dominoes. Um, my father-in-law, my late father-in-law, he loved to play dominoes. So we played a lot, and he had a version of it in which you need to count, and it's something similar, like you need to be counting, and if you get something odd or something not odd, then you win the game, and then you win the turn, extra turns, and things like that, like adding to the basic game with
Mhm.
some counting and things like that. I think that was fun. um makes you be like makes you focus, and
Mhm.
yeah. But now, because we are talking, I'm not focused at all. So
I mean, that's the point of the
I'm
game too.
losing. That's the point of
Just,
Mancala Monday, just to distract people
yeah, just
and win.
distract people and have fun and win.
But as you were saying, I mean, games are social things.
Mhm.
It's fun just to gather with friends and make fun of them, and and laugh together, and make
That
uh, make little strategies to make them not
is,
focus on the
you know,
game.
this is how you win the game too.
That's how
Distraction.
you win.
Yeah,
Exactly that.
distract your friends and just to make sure. Yeah, that's the point. And yeah, people can be competitive. You know, if
Yes.
the needs be, they can be competitive, and you just learn a lot of tricks along the way on how you can distract people enough to win.
Yeah, yeah, yes. So now you can capture mine, but I'm not. Oh no, those three.
So I can capture this,
This
or I
one.
can capture this. I
Yes.
have to, but not necessarily, right? Because if you move this, it upsets my own way of capturing it because this one is one, two,
It
three,
will be
four.
distribute everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
But then you're still giving me some things, and I can just delay the game and I will win
I want to give you something. That's okay.
anyway. Or you can move the six and okay, you can do that.
Uh, you're not capturing mine. I'm just giving it to you.
Eventually I would
I'm in
still
control of the game.
eventually I will still capture because I can delay the game now. I have more control of the board in this
Now
case.
you have more moves. Yeah, right. Right.
Yes.
I'm too good. I'm too good.
And one of the points, because I was kind of doing a bit of history on Mancala game, um, the origin, they said some people say it's been around for like 7,000 years, but
Mm.
it was kind of from like resource management because they used it to teach people about the different seasons, like how the stone move. It's kind
Mm.
of tells about the seasons of the
Ah,
year,
lovely. Lovely.
and how you manage your resource in resource management too. In like your seeds are kind of like resources, but there's a lot of different like stories behind it that I'm
Mhm.
still learning as playing the game.
And I wonder, just to as a question. I mean,
Mhm.
you were saying that normally, I mean, in real life, people
Mhm.
use seeds, which is
Yes.
something super easy to have. You could use, I don't know, beans or whatever, right, that you have on hand.
Mhm.
And the people usually have the board, or I mean, it looks like something that you can do on the ground, like little holes, and that's it.
Interestingly, my dad said he played it on the ground, like they
Hmm.
dug holes and they played. So people improvise. I've seen on YouTube where people use eggs, crate of eggs, and they improvise
That
that.
sounds dangerous, especially
No,
with
no, no, the
competitive people.
crate. No, the crate. No, the crate of egg, not the actual egg.
Ah, okay, okay.
Uh, so
Now I'm
I
less
guess there's
worried.
a lot of improvisation in the game.
Now I'm just la 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 la. I'll do this.
Okay. Yeah, I would still kind of like make sure you move out fast. So I'll take that. So your turn.
Whichever. I don't have a lot to do here.
You don't have a lot of options right now in
No,
this. um,
I'm just giving it to you.
I appreciate you. So I get an extra turn, yeah. And how would you
If someone was expecting to see like these brilliant moves, no, sorry. I'm just learning and I'm losing.
you could have
Eh,
won. Technically, you could have won the game.
yeah, yeah. It was because of my good
It
heart,
was because of your good and benevolent heart. So
benevolence. So I'm
appreciate
just going to give you this, and
it.
then I think, I mean, this is my last move, and I'm going to
No,
do,
you
or how does it work?
you still have three more moves
Oh yeah,
because
yeah. Mm-hmm.
okay, it's my turn actually.
Yes, turn. Yeah, yeah,
So you have three more moves in the game hence.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is my only move, but in the mean, when doing this, I'm going to uh,
Create more. And you
create
know
more.
what? I'm going to you can have more seats than expected. Don't worry, we'll see. So the game ends in your next move, right?
Hmm.
I'll try to make sure the game ends in your next move.
Okay.
In that once I make my move now, you
Hmm.
have two seats left, right?
Yeah.
If you move the closest to the your
Yeah.
Mancala,
I move the closest, and I have another turn, and I win.
then use your turn to take five.
That was
So
my plan the whole time. No.
I could have prevented that five second,
No,
but
no, don't do that. Don't do that. Let me win.
it's your turn. I have no choice at this point.
And now for the last one.
So
Oh
yeah, you
no.
get an extra turn, and then you can capture my five.
Yay. And I won.
No, I won.
No, you won.
Yeah.
Bye. Ah, because okay, it's not the first one; it's the one that has more seats.
He's the one that has the most seed at the end of the game.
Ah, okay. Yes, in that that's cool. That's cool that
Yeah,
you can be. I mean, you can make the winning move, but still lost because it's the amount of seats that's matter
exactly.
that
So the
matters.
objective of the game is have the most seed at the end of the game.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah. What do you think?
I feel like I won a little.
You did win.
Oh
You won
no.
a little. I'm pretty sure if I played the game with you like three
Well,
times,
it
you
wasn't
would
that such embarrassment. I mean,
win.
19 to 29 the first time. I mean, I think I have a little bit of my pride with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she did well. I mean, first trial, she did very well, basically. So,
Thank you, Paul. You're
what do you think about the whole game, like the whole experience? Is this something you would play often if it's like open to everyone to play and all?
I think it's really fun. It's really fun. It is interesting the whole time because every move you make, it changes the board, changes the game, right? So I mean, so it opens up new possibilities or closes up possibilities. So I think that's fun. It gives you a lot of options, right? Could be fun to have like a tutorial for first timers like myself. I mean, a tutorial, not kind of hints, right? So
Mhm.
these are your next two best moves or something like that. Um, but it's really interesting. I asked you before, but I'm gonna ask you again about the colors. That because at the beginning I had, I don't know, remember now, but maybe I had the green ones and you had the blue ones. It doesn't matter actually, right? In the game, it's just
It doesn't matter. It's
yeah.
visuals.
The
The, probably next time you play this game, there will be multiple colors, and I will still improve the seeds because I've gotten some feedbacks on the seed part.
Yeah.
So the colors, I don't know. Did you expect that because it was different colors, it should be like your own?
Yeah, some kind of, and having the seats in different colors helps visually to count when you need to count faster. I mean, I
Mhm.
think it's better to have different colors. But I knew that it doesn't matter, but somehow I was kind of expecting to,
Expected something. Yeah,
yeah,
and I think it's because it's two colors. If it was multiple,
multiple colors.
it
Yeah,
might be
or
like you would know.
and that's something that could also be fun if you are going to play like different games in a row,
Hmm.
having each game to have different colors, or maybe one game has a texture, some, I mean, the next game they are, I don't know, they are golden, and the next game they are like, I don't know, transparent, and the next game they have like eyes, something, right? Like it could be fun to
Randomness
see
there.
something, some randomness in that. Yeah, could be
Mm.
fun. It's really fun, really easy to understand. It has some cool moves that you need to discover
Mm.
playing, right? How to cover yourself. I mean, I wasn't playing defensively. I had no idea what was happening, but you need to be aware of that. There's sometimes you need to be defensive, that you can block the opponent, that you can block their moves. Um, it's a strategy game. I like that. Love that.
And I know you said you're a fan of board games before this. So is this a game that you play with friends? You see yourself playing with friends? So like,
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really fun. And I like the fact that I can create a game and invite someone.
hmm,
I think that's fun. That I'm not playing with a computer. I'm playing with someone, a
you
friend,
have
or
real
in a
conversations. Yeah.
real time. And actually, this interact. Are you planning for the game to have like integrated video and audio capabilities, like to be able to be live talking to the person?
I think that's something that's in the works. Right now, I
Mm-hmm.
just want to kind of like get out the like essential
Yeah, yeah,
tournaments
definitely.
and everything. But I noticed that having a video conversation with a friend while playing the game really helps. Um, the first time I played with a friend, actually not a friend, he became a friend after. I upped on a video call and we played. It was really good. You know, there's a time I played with someone without seeing them in real time, and the experience was different. So I think definitely to improve the game experience, video
Mhm.
features will be there.
Definitely. You have a lot of opportunity. I mean, a lot of avenues to make it more interesting, but it's already interesting as it is. I mean, it doesn't need more at the moment to be fun.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
the gameplay is super easy and fun and easy to follow. Yeah.
yeah. So the goal will be add more feedback to the visual and just kind of like just keep improving it.
Mm.
Uh, and there'll be a tournament. You know, people that like Mancala, you know, that want to play for real can participate in tournaments, Mancala tournaments. And I'm looking at like having events. I like we did an event in person. But if we can have like more events, or people can even create custom events for
Mhm.
Mancala, so you can create your own events, invite your friends, you play. I think there's kind of like an avenue there. And you see, because again, on-chain enables like a lot of like interesting things in like the business model or like financial movement, where
Mhm.
you have, like the top people in these tournaments, we get X amount of the
X
people
amount of rewards. Yeah.
and you don't have to trust anybody, right? It just kind of it's the code that is in control of that. And you that maybe you can be incentivized to create an event because maybe you can also put a fee for creating a Mancala tournament custom event, and
That would be
you
fun.
can again and promote it as like oh yeah, if you want to participate in this, you can do that. And people that want to play for fun too, because it doesn't always have to be financialized, can also play for fun because this is a family game, right? People play with their friends, with family, so you can do like just create more avenue. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like bringing this experience on the blockchain. I think it's awesome.
It's awesome. I mean, I think the tournament part, the fact that people could create a community, a group of people that play maybe regularly, they can
Mhm.
create a tournament for themselves. Doesn't
And
need to be like an
competing instead
official
of
tournament, like big
yeah,
thing.
uh-huh.
That's a cool idea.
And if they want to compete against other communities, they can. So it's
They
like this
can.
community and this community. Because
Hmm.
as I was thinking when I did the physical event, I was thinking, okay, I did it on a campus. Maybe another campus can compete with another campus and see who's better. Um, just for the fun of it. We'll see where it goes, but still experimenting and seeing where it goes.
I think I mean at the moment
Hmm.
the I will play with the aesthetic of the board and the beats,
Hmm.
because usually when you play you have something that you can personalize. I mean, you can, right? um Even if it doesn't affect the game, it could be fun if you can choose. I mean, I want my beats to be colorful, I want my beats to be pink, I want my beats to be, right, golden, like or like a diamond or whatever. Or maybe you could have different styles of boards, right? Like one a basic board. I mean, the design, a basic one more elaborate with, I don't know, carvings on it or something like that, and people could choose. It doesn't affect the game at all. Doesn't make you any better player, but you have the feeling that you choose something, right? Like, this is my game, right? I choose the beats and I choose the color. Or have
Actually,
you
I
something
had
like that?
I had a similar suggestion
Mm.
during the Aka House because we talked about how the board is collectible. No, the board can keep perfect record of the games,
Of
right?
the
I
game.
talked about
Hmm.
playing a game with my grandma, right? And like recreating these memories. But if the board is collectible, maybe you can have an engraving of your like family name there, and like you said, maybe you have a pink seeds, a collectible seeds.
Mm.
You collect this board, and you want to play with that board, or you want to kind of like, it gives a lot of personalization. And oh, this is my family board. Like my grandma
Yeah,
played on this board. I did
maybe.
this board, and I'm passing it to you. So there's a lot of kind of. It doesn't essentially affect the game, but it kind of like
It
plays
doesn't
into.
need to. Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't need to.
I definitely see that in the works.
Mhm.
I would see, how we can prioritize that too, and just yeah, definitely useful, really amazing feedbacks. I really appreciate it. Um,
You're welcome. And could you? I just have a question. Could you share a little bit about why you choose that background and the music?
um, Still a work in progress, but the background,
Hmm.
the idea was to, it's still a work in progress, tell like more deeper stories behind the game. Because
Hmm.
when you're playing the game, essentially I said I want to export like African culture on chain. I want people to be able to kind of like learn something or just kind of get that vibe. We're not there yet, obviously, but I'm even thinking when you're playing the game, the background can change and
Hmm.
summary of everything tells a story.
Mm.
Um,
Love it.
Work in progress. So we have this as a placeholder right now. It's still kind of like setting in a village.
Hmm.
People sometimes play Mancala under a tree, right? People come under a tree, put their boards, sit down, and people gather around and play. So that's kind of like the vibe I'm trying to still get, but it's still work in progress.
Yeah, I like the prototype. I mean, the idea,
Mhm.
and you could have the village and you could have the big city, big modern city too, right? Like people
Mhm.
play in different contexts, and also to help expand the idea of African countries that people has in their minds, right? So.
Okay, true, true. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely would play around different backgrounds. this is not going to be just one background. It's even maybe if you capture a seed or make certain moves, it can trigger a different type of background, and you
Oh,
can
that's nice.
get that right. So there's a lot of thoughts in there. Yeah, definitely. This is kind of like the origin, right? I'm still trying to kind of like it's telling a story. Eventually, we can have like even modern, beautiful cities. And because there's like different variants of Mancala in different countries, I'm thinking if you're playing Nigerian version, the background might
Mhm,
tell you more history or historical things about Nigeria while you're playing.
mhm.
If you're
Makes
playing
sense.
a Ghanaian version, they're the same thing and just different things. But yeah, that's kind of like a lot of work in progress. But yeah. Um,
Makes sense. Totally.
love your feedbacks. Is there any other thing you wanted to kind of suggest? I want to do like a live session code, but yeah, what are your thoughts? Final thoughts?
I think it's a really interesting game. I want to congratulate you and the team. I think you can see that there's a lot of effort and thinking behind it because it looks good, it looks polished. You keep saying, there's a lot of things to improve, of course. In every app, every project, there's always many million things that we want to do better. But I think it's a fantastic first. And I really enjoyed the session and the game, but even losing is fun.
Don't worry, next time you definitely would.
Next
Maybe
time,
with me.
I'll
Yeah,
win.
I got you. But yeah, Paul, is there any other thing before I get started with the coding session?
No, no. I mean, you can dive into it.
Okay.
So I'm free now, or what do you want me to do?
Yes, I appreciate your feedbacks, and playing with you was amazing. Learned a little bit from
Thank
you
you.
know
Okay.
from your feedback, so appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Paul. It was really fun.
Yeah,
And
thank
keep going, keep building.
Thank you, thank you,
Bye
Carla.
bye.
Bye. Okay, so next step will be live coding. Um,
you.
second.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, let's say when the game is live,
Mhm.
how many percent, how many users can create like an active game at the same time? Like, what's
That's
the capacity you're like envisioning?
envisioning as much uh, anybody can create game. It's not conflicting as long as you're not playing with another
Yeah,
player playing. But even if you are, it's not conflicting because it's still records on chain, right? It shouldn't affect the capacity. So one thing though is like the indexer. There might be some issue with it. I don't know if you experienced the Eternal season zero, where
yeah,
there were like 100 people trying to play and there was an issue. But that's a work in progress that I think will be settled in no time. So our capacity will be like boundless. We'll just improve it and scale like horizontally, and we should be fine.
awesome, cool.
Right, appreciate that. I will go on to the live session. Start from here. Just want to make sure I have the new branch on my computer, my terminal.
So when are you expecting this championship feature to go live?
You know, there is an easy way and there is like the right way. My intention is to kind of like get it um like MVP as fast as possible. Yeah, people can play around with it and then we just optimize it. I don't give like a timeline just because programming you can say in a day and it takes longer.
Yeah,
But ideally in less than 3 weeks this should be up and running, ideally with no surprise, but there might be surprises. The way I intend to, make it is I'm just going to remove this. Um, the way I intend to do it is, code on Mancala Mondays, and code during the week and then show the progress.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that, we should be done in about 3 weeks. With the contracts, should be even less than that. But then integrating the front end will be kind of like a little of the issue.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay. I like using this text editor, but I know Cursor is kind of probably easier. But I'm Rebel, so I'm gonna do this. Give me 1 second.
No, sir. Okay, so just give me like a few minutes. I want to do a quick stuff.
All right, that works for me. All right, so I'm going to get started with the championship. My idea will be to create a new um, dojo repo here. So I'm just going to do a Sozo init, and I'll call it championship. And I'm going to reorganize it next week. The goal is just to show you, how to start a new dojo project, and which we just did with a Sozo command. But before that, we're going to try to reference the dojo engine documentation also, so I can try to explain things. And what we're trying to build today is a championship. Yeah, what we're trying to build today is a championship plugin into Mancala. So Mancala is the game we just played prior, and we want to make it a bit more, competitive. So players can stake against other players and maybe join a tournament where people can play around it, and the top players, win a prize. So since I just initialized it, this is the scab.toml who just has everything. I'm going to switch this to a championship, and this is just the name of the package. So just call it championship, and we're going to use AI a lot in this. But before we get into it, this is heavily inspired by something from Provable Games, which is their tournament. And the main reason why we're not using the Provable Games tournament is that Mancala is a two-player game, and this is optimized for, a single-player PvE game. But we're going to be inspired a lot from their contract, so we can reference this a little bit, yeah. And this is where theirs is. You see, they have the models with the game, life cycle, schedule, and tournaments. Ours will be slightly different, but again, kind of inspired by theirs. So we have a schedule, which will just tell us the period, like the schedule of the game. We'll have a tournament. Ours will be championship, and this is game, and this is kind of like the model for the game itself. So yeah, I'll go on and get started. So for me, I'm just going to quickly clean up what we got here. So cd into championship, which is what we just installed, and src. From the src, I'm going to remove the starter model file. So rm model. And the systems, and the way Dojo works, right? They try to emulate ECS system. And if you're familiar with that, it's just entity, component, and systems. Dojo, on the other hand, like changes that. So instead of entity, component, system, they're using, they have an entity, they have models that replaces components. And we just deleted the models. We're going to create a new one. So I can just, create a folder for models, call it models. So we have this folder here, and inside the models, we can create like a championship file. So the touch championship.cairo. I know I want to create a match file also, so I'll do a match.cairo. I'll do a schedule and stake.cairo. So these are the three models, or main models I want for my contract. So in this case, like I said, we're going to be heavily influenced from tournaments, and we just want to change it so that multiple players can play in the game instead of just a single player game. But I mean, we'll look at how it's structured. They do have like important schedule. They have a dojo model, yeah. In our case, I have written some of the models, so I'm just going to copy and paste and try to explain. So in this case, I have a championship model. Should copy that and paste it here. And essentially, it's like when you want to have a championship game, we have the ID for each unique tournament. And the way I envision it is that, like the tournament from Provable Games, people can, create custom, tournaments, or in this case, championship leagues, and people can, sponsor that and have, people play in their championship leagues. For the MVP, right, we're going to have like one player play against another player. That's kind of like the idea. But in this, we just taking the time it was created, who created the tournament, the metadata, and I'm going to copy that real quick and paste it in here. And the metadata just contains the name, the description, the maximum player that can participate in the tournament, and the minimum players that can participate in the tournament. We do have schedule. We do have a component for schedule, so I'm just going to copy and paste that too and try to explain that as we go. I'm just going to copy the schedule and period here. So, and if you want to create yours by yourself, technically I was inspired by AI, right? So I just had AI generate this for me. But, well, in this schedule, we want to get the registration and the period for the game. So the period is the start and stop. So we would have like registration. So when to register the game, and this is the period you can start registering, or you can start registering for the championship, and this is when it ends and when the game starts. We can also know like the start period for a game and the end period. And you see this derived traits here. It just as the copy drop and Saturday, just serialize and deserialize. But we are using introspect here because we're going to be using it in a model, and we need the introspect model for it to work. And essentially, is in the dojo docs, it talks about the introspect. I'm not sure where. I think, okay, if we look at it for sure. And it explains like what the introspect does. You can read through this documentation. So in Dojo, all enum variants can use different variant data model. In this case, as variant data have different sizes, the enum cannot derive introspect part, but must derive introspect if any variants share the same type thing. Okay, the summary is that if you're going to be using the a custom type, you should use introspect for the index, and Dojo should be able to kind of like fit into the world. So that's why we have that there. We have the entry fee enum. I'm also going to copy that model, paste it, and explain it. So again, this all can change still, but for the entry fee, we have the token address. So this is the address that is required for the. So if it's stack, you put the stack address when you initialize it here. So that's what will be the entry fee, or when you're creating the tournament for the championship, and then the amount that will be the entry fee, and the share for the creator. So if someone creates a game, they want to take how many percent. This is where kind of is defined. And then we have the entry requirement. Put this here, and this. I mean, right now, it's not required, but like down the line, there will be like ranked games. So maybe people within the certain rank should be able to only play people within the certain rank, so it's a bit more fair in the tournament. So this is where the entry requirement rank is. And then we got status. So I'm going to copy and paste the stats and status. So this is another one. And you see that the difference between this and this is that it has the dojo model, which I'm going to take here. And this just tells, the compiler that this is a model, and this is where the state of the contract is going to be stored. And yeah, this helps in also indexing, because Jojo comes with an automatic indexer, and this just helps you index and makes your application faster, because instead of you having to read data like real time, you can just kind of get it from like already index version, and then you can use that. And again, it helps your gaming experience, build games faster, because uh you before you would have to actually have to build your own indexer, right? And this kind of like just helps you out with that. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. So we have the status, which I'm going to also copy and paste. And I've used models, or I've used types here that doesn't exist. So this would essentially fail. So I'm going to also add that. But let's put the status here. And this is just like the registration period for the championship. When it's in progress, we have when it's completed, and if the championship, was cancelled because maybe it doesn't have enough participants. So again, I'm going to try to import schedule. I think we created schedule here already. I'll try to import them to the contract. So just copy this and paste here. But then the next thing, I'm using all these things, but I need to kind of like register them here. So in this lib.cairo file, we have the pub mod systems actions, and this is just kind of like show you in your file directory that you're going to be using systems and action here. So it's registering it, and it allows you to be able to import it within other contract. And we had models here before, that's why it is. But right now we have it as a directory. So we'll create a model directory here, and I think if we tab, this will be correct, but yeah. So we change this to match and change this to stake. And this is just registering all the files for the model here, and that we can attach to it. So we go back here because I'm trying to import, or I just imported it. And if I didn't do that, it would have not existed. Okay, I'm going to quickly do a Sozo build. And this is not kind of like a big deal right now because it should build. Okay, it did not build. And I'm assuming it did not build because, let's see why. Model file not found matched. Okay, so we do have the file, but we have not initialized it, or we don't have anything here. We're trying to, I guess, get it the model, which the model doesn't exist. So I'm going to quickly get a match here, put it in, we'll try again. Okay, so this file, so that one, so in this trade, championship in this copy trade, invalid macro. Okay, let's square this and do a quick Sozo build. Okay, still more issues. So match is a result identifier. Okay, so I guess we cannot use match as a name. So what we're going to do is rename it. So in this name, I can just do a git mv match, and I'll change it to game match.cairo. Because I did that, I should have renamed, but I don't know why this didn't. So I'm going to just remove the match, match. Okay. So the next thing is I'm going to update this sort of match. I'll call it game match. Let's try one quick build. Let's see. Okay. Still running into issues. So let's see what the issue is. Variable not drop. So we need to implement the copy trade here. Okay. So in the action, you know what? I'm just going to take out the action because right now we don't need it. So let's quickly build till it builds. Okay. And this is a good thing that I know our compiler is telling us these issues, and we can use that example. So what is the next issue? So in this case, okay, so I think it wants us to end this. So let's do that. Give me 1 second. Okay, you know what? I'll take this out because I don't believe it should be there. Okay, Claire. Okay, so in the model championship, we have a place where we need to implement a copy trait for the metadata. We did not. So we'll do that. And try one more time. Okay. Okay, so in championship, invalid trait as an implementation in context for byte array. So we have a place using byte array and we're trying to use a copy trait, which will not work. So just for peace, I'm going to use a fail252. I know this is a little bit of constraint, but we can edit this later. Let's just kind of get it to build first. So so this builds perfectly. So in Cairo, this copy trait just kind of, it's helpful in ownership, right? So how Cairo memories model works is that you can only write once to a memory slot in Cairo, and you cannot kind of like write over just for safety. And so every custom type that has a copy trait actually makes that every time I want to use or assign the variable or use the variable, instead of like changing ownership, taking ownership from the variable and assigning to another, it creates a copy of it. But the issue is that byte array doesn't allow you to do that. So I cannot use byte array copy traits because I was using byte array. So that was where the issue was coming from. I use felt, but I can kind of like think of it a little bit later and kind of change that. But we got that part. So I'm going to continue. See if there's any other thing we need to implement. Okay, I'm just going to copy the generate trait here. So for the championship, paste this out here. And this is just like creating custom implementation methods for the championship model. So we have this championship model here. And in this case, we want to see if the registration is opened, return like a bool. So it takes in self of championship. So we have a match of the status. So if the registration is, I guess, if the variant is on registration, we get the block timestamp. So definitely need to import Starknet. But we get the block timestamp for year. And then we have another match statement for the registration. So if the registration period current time is greater than or equal to the period start, and the current time is greater than, it returns the value there, or if the option is none, which it returns true. And then in every other variant of the status, it is false. And we can just quickly open the status here to see what this is. Oh, championship status is actually in another file, which is the same file here. So if you check the championship status here, there's like different, variants, which is the registration in progress, completed, and cancelled. So in this case, so it's registration open. It's only open when championship status variant is under registration. So the next one is the can start, which also returns a bool that, can you start the game? So we got this. And then there's like is full method, and it just checks like, is it that the game is at capacity? So if it's at capacity, so if status registered player is greater than, in the metadata, the max player we set. So in this case, we have max players that can register for the championship. So if, register player is greater or equal, that means it's full, so you cannot register. So we're going to use this helper function down the line. And you know what? For just a bit of gas optimization, we can have it like inline. So we can just do it inline. And what it just means is that this function will like just be applied or in full, instead of like calling it as a function, is going to be put into anywhere we're using it, and just makes it's a gas optimization trick. It helps you in a bit for gas optimization, makes it less expensive. If it's worth it. But yeah, so we do have the championship model initialized, and this is kind of like the struct or the custom type that owns like the game that we're going to be creating, or the championship or the tournaments we're going to be creating. So we get the time it's created, who it's created by, the metadata, the schedule, the entry fee for it, and the different status. The metadata, I think we already explained it, just metadata, just meta information of the game, and the entry fee struct. But yeah, this is kind of like the simple implementation of the championship. And this code will be open source, so everybody will be able to see. If you want to contribute, it's fine. Just reach out. So this is the match. So the game match would have like the friend match schedule. We have match results. So because again, Mancala, which is our first example, is a two-player game. So player one can win or player two. So we can get this result, and this will implement or affect the stake, because players would stake a token here. So if you win, you should be eligible for maybe 95% of like your win, or depending on like the tournament. So this is like if two people playing a championship game against themselves, they can do like best of three depending. So that's where that is. So we have the schedule. So we do the stake too. So just quickly copy and paste this and explain it also. So in the stake, again, we literally had like AI generate this, or I did, and just modified it, right? So you can definitely do the same if you're trying to build like a Dojo contract. But yeah, in this case, we have enum, which would tell you pending game, active, release, or forfeited. We have the player stake, championship ID, or the player the key, so the amount they've staked. Game status, the status, so just the status of the stake here. So if it's the game is over, so it will be kind of like released, so they can be able to, or if they can withdraw, it's going to be active, so they can withdraw. Or if the game is still pending, so the game is not over, they cannot. And if they've withdrawn it, we have the status change to released. And if it was forfeited, so both parties are like, I'm not playing again. This is where that's kind of come in play, and they can withdraw both their stake. And it depends. So if the tournament also or championship was cancelled, that works in that same way. And this is like player registration. So this is where players that are playing the game registered. And this is kind of like an implementation of this. But in summary, we've created like the essential models we're going to use for the game. Next step will be to implement the systems. And again, like I explained in the beginning, the ECS, right? We have models that keeps the state of the game. If you want to kind of like learn more about it, you can go here. So models are structured data in your world. So models are Kairos struct with automatic on-chain introspection. You have the model attributes kind of like to it. Custom enums and types are supported if they implement the introspect. And this is what we're talking about. Like the introspect, and we have the key that enables you kind of like query data in the model. So I think about it like a spreadsheet table, right? We have a key that we can use to kind of like access the table in the game. So it's typically if you are coming from like MySQL, you have that experience that should help you. And this is an example model. We already have like different example models, and model can have multiple keys, which we do have in this case. What I wanted to show was more on the framework of Dojo. So we've created all the models, right? So these are models that are going to be stored in the world contract and just the state, right? We have systems that modify state of the contract. So we're going to talk more, we're going to showcase more about the systems next week. And players kind of like interact with it. So this is an example game. This will be the architecture. So let's just move. So in the system, there will be like a function that kind of modifies the state of this model of position. And then every time you call that function, it modifies it and emits an event, and the Tori indexer picks it. We'll show you what Tori is next week also. But you think of it like a GraphQL endpoint that you can use to also kind of fetch data from your blockchain, in this case, database. And the client is kind of like the front end. But yeah, what we have done today is we finished the models that essential models we're going to use for our contract. So we have championship model. I think that's the only model, yeah. And we have the player stake model, and this is kind of like for staking your contracts. And then the registration model. That's pretty much what we got today. Next week we'll continue on the system and modifying the system, or the state of the contract, and yeah, we should be able to stake and on stake and play Mancala game, at least for the MVP. Well,
Yeah, awesome. I guess that's pretty much it. And so who I think I'm trying to put something in there, double. Who do you actually expect to be our next? Who do you expect to be our next guest for next week?
so I think her name is Amanda from the Starknet Foundation. Um,
Oh,
she's
um,
really excited to play the game. I actually played with her in Denver. She's an amazing Mancala player. She says she used Mancala to teach kids in like back in the UK, and
oh,
yeah, she has a lot of like she's been playing it with friends. She actually had a Mancala club, not a Mancala club. It was a game club, I think, that they played Mancala very often. So I'm really excited to play her next week. When I played her for the first time, our energy was literally electric. I was so excited playing her. So I cannot wait to play her next week.
awesome, awesome. I
And
actually like the fact that at least people that haven't played Mancala before, or maybe have not experienced it, getting to learn about Mancala, and also getting onboarded, and also learn about the African culture, and it's actually what makes all this interesting.
yes, and I mean, even people that have played it, like give me Angela, right? Um, she played a different variant. So she's like, wow, I did not know there were like over 200 variants. And she was like, I want to learn them all. Oh, you're gonna see her next week. She's like energy is
Awesome,
electrified. And energy is
awesome.
electric. But yeah, aside from the playtest, which I enjoy, for the Mancala um live coding, think I'll try
Mhm.
to make it more interactive next week. Fingers crossed, get another Cairo dev that we can kind of like go back and forth. But by next week we should have this system. So how the dojo contract works is like we have the models, which is the state, and then the system that interacts with it. And that's essentially what we need. And we just kind of like modify it. We have like dispatcher to be able to play, like call the Mancala function to create a game.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, essentially what we need. Fingers crossed, we should be able to play like a tournament, mini tournament on in 2 weeks, but we should be able to kind of like test it out next week.
Awesome. That's cool. That's pretty much it for this week, guys. So see you next week. Really appreciate everyone joining the live session, and if you have any comments, any feedback, you can always like share with Okay, or maybe share in the Starknet Africa group, or make comment on Twitter. But that will be all for today, and bye bye.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for hosting us.